welcome back to another video. I'm joined today with a special guest, which is Kirstie Skivington. Would you like to give a brief introduction about yourself?
My name is Kirstie Skivington, as you said. I am a performer on the West End mainly, and I have been in the industry for the past 10 years.
Great. So I asked my Instagram followers to just give you a few questions. So yeah, let's get started.
Yeah.
So the first one that I've got for you is, how do you prepare to play a new character?
Oh, good question. Preparing for a new character, is so detailed. You know, you get the first eyes of a script basically, and when you see it, you've always got a first impression of everything. Of when you read something, you go, okay, how does this feel in my body? What do I envision this person as? And I think that's just the initial thought. But it goes into great detail. There's a lot of sort of studying of the character and pulling apart the script to be able to figure out who this person is, because it's not just about the story that's happening on stage. It's about what that character's been through before that, what they go through after, and the in-between parts of when they're not on stage. It's creating that whole monologue that is much bigger than what is on the stage. So that's an inner monologue of what's going on in the head of other opinions. So I think, just a lot of studying and pulling it apart and taking each line for what it is and playing it differently. Making mistakes is a massive thing, of just being bold with choices. But definitely there's a lot of discussing that has to happen before you remotely get up on your feet with a new character. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So leading on from that is, have you ever originated a role?
Oh, I wish. Well, I tell you what, it's not. I have originated roles, but it's not like a role for me is like something like Anne Hathaway, which I'm currently covering in the West End. That is for me as a role. I have originated roles in terms of like, I've done a lot of brand new musicals, to be honest, in terms of making it fresh from a workshop. I've originated the role of Vicky, and everybody's talking about Jamie, which is in the ensemble, but she's a really cool little character, So I suppose her. Yeah, I mainly have covered. So although I've had the chance to be able to create my own ensemble characters, which has been an absolute joy, to be honest, there's always that element of that, because I have covered that, you take what the person that's been playing the role, obviously, you take a pinch of salt with that, really, because the director is leading them in that way. So there's a little spin on it that you can do sometimes as a cover, but you're all studying it together in a way. So yeah, not yet.
Yeah, I actually saw Anne Juliet when it premiered in Manchester.
Did you? Yeah. Oh my god.
And I thought, ever since then, this is just going to be a show for me. I absolutely love it. Like, the songs just link to the plot line excellently. They really, really do.
It's just like comedy gold, isn't it?
Yeah, like 1 minute Juliet's like, I think Paris. Yeah, it's set in Paris, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's just like that, and then next thing you know, she breaks into "Oops, I Did It Again," and it's just absolute comedy gold.
Yeah, so she takes that journey into Paris to be able to just all those curve and spin balls that get chucked at her, just brilliant, aren't they?
Yeah, so in Anne Juliet, you also play Benvolio, don't you?
I do, yeah, Benvolio.
Oh, that made me laugh. I love that character.
I'll tell you what, I've originated a character. We miss Benvolio.
Honestly, it was absolutely hilarious. Like, the way you just walked on stage, I was like, oh, I fell in love with this character.
Oh, I love playing Benvolio. It's the tiniest little snippet. It used to be actually bigger than what it is now. So he used to be in a couple of other scenes, which was like super fun. But I tell you what, I originated that, and that was, I got the script and I saw this writing and thought, who is this person? And I had, no joke, about a minute to decide before they went. Luke Shepherd, our director, just went, just have a go at it. So I just sort of like embodied it. I went, I need a cap. this is what I'm going to go for, you know? So yeah, Benvolio.
Go all out. You might as well.
Absolutely.
So the next question is, what's something positive that's come from lockdown for you?
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, I love this question because, you know, everyone's dealt with it in their own way, haven't they, really? You know, depending on where you are, what stage of your life. I think that's a big thing, you know, kids, parents, it doesn't matter who you are. Everyone's taking it in their stride. But I think a positive thing for me is, I think being a performer, we never really get our evenings to be able to like sit down and have a dinner, which is the most tiniest of things. But actually, the sort of different schedule has been something wonderful. So I've been able to share a bit more time with my husband in the evenings, which has been an absolute godsend. But a massive positive for me is I had to have a huge operation on my foot due to injury, and it has given me all the time I need in order to recover and not miss out being on the stage with my fellow castmates or going into an audition. You know, it's given me the opportunity to really recover and not feel that pressure to be back on stage too early. So that through all of this, I've been able to fit that in this period of time, and it took me most of 2020 to really get onto my feet. So yeah, that was perfect timing.
Yeah, I think 2020 was just a rubbish year for everyone.
Yeah, it was definitely challenging, but it's so funny because we will now remember it as 2020 was just a wipeout year and just we don't want it in our lives. But actually, the pandemic didn't start until March, so we really need to like remember what happened before that, you know, because it's so easy for me to forget. But I actually, for the first time, played Anne Hathaway and Juliet, you know, and that I played her for nearly 4 weeks, and I have to remember that because it was the most incredible role I've ever played. So for things like that, it's so easy to remember the negative and go, God, 2020 was a horrible year, get it out of my life, when actually so much happened before that. So I think it's really important that we go, right, from January to March, let's just call that 2020.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So the next question is, a show you have been in before and would like to do again or bring back.
Oh, yes. I mean, Jesus Christ Superstar is just one of them shows. It breaks you as a performer. It is one of the hardest things physically because of the choreographer Drew McConey. You know, his stuff is just so challenging, but super rewarding when you do it. So I would actually do Jesus Christ Superstar again, I think, in Regent's Park, because it is just the most epic experience I've ever had. But in terms of other shows, what would I do and bring back? Ooh, hard. I mean, I've never done it, but I would love to be in Rent. So, like, anytime that comes around the corner, like, I would love to be in that. That is just an incredible show for me. Just, yeah, got a bit of a special place in my heart, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question is, tips on how to get into the theatre industry.
Ooh, okay. I mean, obviously, it all depends what road you're going down. You know, there are hundreds of roles in theatre, whether that be on stage, off stage, in the theatre, you know, front of house. It depends where you're going. In terms of actually performing, you know, I want to say that there's like an A to B that you can do, but that really isn't the case. You know, I think it's very much you get out what you put in, really. You need to work really hard to, but I think be really comfortable in your skin and know what you're good at. So, like, you know, I started as a dancer, mainly a dancer. I didn't really, you know, I was singing karaoke with my dad. Like, that was the most singing that I was doing. You know, nothing bold. And although I loved singing, you know, I didn't know if that was something that I could pursue or that was a strong enough match to my dancing, you know. So I think in terms of a bit of advice is just go with your gut, go with your heart, and just work incredibly hard, you know, and don't be afraid to be bold and speak to people that you wouldn't usually speak to, and get your face out there, you know. I think it's really important that people get to know you. Yeah.
Yeah. Where did you train?
Oh, I started at a place called Miskin Theatre, which is in Dartford. And if you're thinking of training, like, or you just come from school, like, that is an incredible place to start. I went in there with very little sort of dance training, and they taught me everything I needed to know about performing. You know, it was a great sort of like stepping stone and a starter into the industry. And then from there, I moved from the Miskin Theatre to the Erdang Academy, and I stayed there for 3 years because that's sort of a bog standard course that you do. And then from there, I came out into the industry. You know, so I feel like most people have like done ballet since they're like 2 years old or something, or like been doing all this training. But actually, I didn't start training until a really late age, I feel, you know. So I only had about probably like six years training before I came into the industry. Yeah.
Yeah, like like some performers like Carrie Holt Fletcher didn't train, so it's great to just see how far she's come in her career.
Yeah, and I think like people like that haven't trained are just so like raw and interesting, because although colleges and training are so beneficial, you know, in many ways for different people, I think at the same time sometimes it's good to not know anything. You know, you get a lot of casting directors now, I feel like, that are actually just going, you know, you need no experience, just come in and show us what you can do. Yeah. Because you then have no outside influence, or you're not being put into the same sort of categories of people, or being like, right, we're going to do a whole show and this is what one person thinks about it in a college, you know. Whereas actually you're just coming and going, your life experience is going into the piece. So I think that's why people like Carrie do really well, because they're a raw performer, you know. So I think you could have loads of training and you could have nothing. And I think if your heart is in it and you're passionate about it, that's where it gets you. It's about staying on that sort of wheel of hope almost in this industry.
Great.
Yeah.
So the next question is, what's the best meal you have had in lockdown?
That's brilliant. Oh my God, are you joking me? Well, I mean, to be honest, like we've all, I don't know about you, but I've eaten far too much. Like I just cannot stop flipping eating, because like you wake up and you're like, okay, breakfast, and then you're like, lunch, and then you're like thinking about what's next. And I'm like, okay, we're prepping dinner at like 7 a.m. in the morning, which is madness. But I've tried a few. We bought this thing called pasta evangelist. I think I'm saying it right. Pasta evangelist. I'm going to go with that. You should check it out. It's Italian pasta. But it's just so simple. It comes in like a little letterbox through the post, and you just open it. There's the fresh pasta. You just whack it in your pan, and you've got like a full-blown Italian meal in your kitchen, and it's mint. I really enjoyed it. So I'd actually say I'd go pasta evangelist. It's one of my favourites.
Great. So the next question is a question that I'm asking everyone, and it is, what is your opinion on stunt casting?
Whoo. I don't know. I think it's hard because, you know, I've been on both sides of the panel in terms of I've been behind the desk and choosing and having an influence on who's coming through the door and whatnot, and I've been the performer. And I think it really depends on the panel and the people that are putting the piece together. I think you can have a strong opinion on something when you know all the facts, is how I feel very strongly about that. And I feel like, you know, when I was helping out casting with Jamie, everybody's talking about Jamie, and then doing a bit around Juliet, you know, I could really see a different side to stuff of what we were trying to find. But then when I'm the performer, you know, your heart's in it, you know, you're hopeful. So I think unless you're in the situation, you can't really have an opinion, is how I feel.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that.
Yeah.
It's one of those questions that you just don't know how to answer.
No, because there's almost like not an answer to it, you know.
Yeah.
You can have your own opinion about it, but actually I feel like it's just dwelling on something when actually, you know, you can't control them things happening or have an influence on it unless you're in that sort of group of people doing that, you know. So yeah, I think it all depends where you are in terms of panel or not, or you can be around them things to hear all the facts, you know. Yeah.
So the next question is, what was the audition process like for Juliet?
It's wicked. I actually, if you look in the programme, right at the back, I'm like, I think I'm named associate associate audition choreographer. I can't remember. Anyway, if you look at the back, you find it in the back of the programme. But I actually helped out with the auditions, which was just
right.
bonkers, because I literally come from everybody's talking about Jamie, and I had done the workshops for Juliet and just became really close with the choreographer Jen Webber, and she was in New York and was like, okay, we're getting Juliet on its feet, we need to start auditioning people, bringing people in, but I'm in New York and I can't do anything. I'm going to send you the video, I want you to learn it, and then you're going to bring the people in and you're going to audition and you're going to bring them people to the finals, which for me was like, I was like, okay, I've done this with, you know, the choreographer by my side in Jamie and the director, and, you know, just leading the room and allowing them to make the decisions. But this was very much, I was working with Stuart Burt, who is a casting director, a wonderful casting director for Juliet. And I was working really closely with him, and we went around loads of colleges actually, and auditioned inside of colleges to just see what the talent was coming out and give them an opportunity, because I think that's really important. You know, they start learning as soon as possible with actual auditions, and it was a job. You know, I think it shocked a lot of them, because I was coming in going, this is a job, you're getting paid, you're going on a West End stage, and I think a lot of them were really scared, you know. But it was amazing. It was so fun to be. It was so fun to be involved in choosing the people. So I was leading the room, and all I remember from my perspective of coming into the show was I was leading the room, and Max Martin walked in the room, and my jaw dropped, because he just minced in and sat down, and then all these other people, about 15 other people, just minced in and sat down as well. And I thought, okay, yeah, I'm just going to keep running the room and talking and dancing. And they were just watching. And we finished. And Max actually said to me, so what are you doing in our show? And I went, oh, I'm not in the show. I'm actually I'm helping the audition process. And he was like, oh, you're Kirstie. So we got talking. And Luke Shepherd, also the director, was like, you know, why don't you just sing for Anne Hathaway? And I was like, who's Anne Hathaway? I was genuinely like that, because, you know, I hadn't been given any of the material. I didn't know much about it, apart from like the odd workshop and whatnot. But even then, workshops are so scrappy. They're just, you chuck ideas in and play. So I was like, no, you know, I know what my path is. I know what I'm doing. And I was really set on, I'm going to audition, I'm getting out, and I'm moving on to the next thing. So I'm very determined like that. But actually, you know, Max and Luke, they were like, just take the song, take it, and gonna practice. So I had a little practice, and actually, before I knew it, I was just, I went and like de-sweated in the toilet after dancing for like 6 hours straight, and then chucked a shirt on and was like, okay, I'm here, I'll have a go, I've got nothing to lose. And I sang That's the Way It Is for a panel of like 15 people, and I think I wasn't nervous for once, because I knew all these people already, because I'd been in the room auditioning with them. And yeah, I sang the song, and it just felt really good. It felt really good, and I didn't need to dance, because they'd been seeing me do the routine like 500 times in front of them. So yeah, that was that really. And I sang, and I think I only sang once, I think, and I did a bit of script, and then that was that really. And I kept doing the auditions, and I got offered the cover, and then saw the script and thought, God, I don't think I can turn this down. You know, this is a big step for me. So that's how I got on board. So it was the weirdest audition. I don't think I was meant to be in Anne Juliet, but I ended up taking on that responsibility. So I started on the panel and ended up being in the show. Yeah, so I'm really chuffed though. I'm so glad that they that Max was so encouraging of it. So yeah, he almost influenced my decisions. I'm very grateful he did.
Yeah, especially being part of an original cast and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it's so weird, because I was sitting on the panel and watching people like Danielle come in and Dylan, you know, all the people from my cast. So I actually watched them audition and sing and then dance, and I was choosing them. So it's really weird, because when we got to the show, they were like, oh, wait, you're here? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be in here. It's really odd. But it was wonderful. So because I'd seen the journey they'd all gone through individually to be able to get where they were into the show. So yeah, it was really special as well.
Yeah, so you had a month run in Manchester.
Yeah.
What was that like to open in Manchester?
It was epic. That's what I'm going to say. Epic epic. Just, I mean, it's so nerve-wracking. I cannot tell you, to open an original show. You know, we're all there putting our hearts on the line and going, this is what we've created. We don't know if you're going to like it, but we think it's great, and this is what it is, you know. And it just, the pink borders and everything in Manchester just looked brilliant. I felt like it stood out, and we were having such a nice time there. But yeah, when we opened that first night, I will never forget the reaction. It was just electrifying, is the word. You know, you there's nothing like it. And we went, I think we're on to a winner, you know. And the cast, we were so passionate about this story, all of us. Everyone was on board, and everyone was like, this is something special and it needs to move to London, you know. And yeah, I love the run in Manchester because it was a trial outside. It didn't feel like too much pressure, but we learned so much, and then we grew from that and came into the West End. So it was a massive learning curve for the production, and a big confidence booster for the company.
So the next question is, how did it feel when you had to go on for Anne for the first time?
I was nervous. Woo! I was so nervous. You know, Kirstie Skivington does an incredible job of the role. You know, she's an incredible singer, fantastic actress, you know. So naturally, as a cover, you go, ooh, you know, I'm gonna make my own footprint on the role. You know, I'm gonna take it in my stride and make it my own, basically. And obviously, we've been really prepared before that with our associate director, Anna, who is incredible. She guided us through all the rehearsals. So there's plenty of practicing before, but I just remember standing in the wing and being like, I had to hold the program coming on, and my hand was sweating, and I was like, it's going to fall out of my hand. And my gosh, I'm too hot. I can't breathe in my corset. But yeah, I just took a deep breath. I think I was chewing on some chewing gum to try and create any bit of saliva for myself. And then I just went, right, go. Just go. And I just remember staring at Ollie Thompson going, I'm going to be okay. I know it was Ivan, I think. That's bad. But I'm pretty sure Ivan or Ollie. Either way, someone was staring at me. It's very hard to remember when you're on for the first time because all you do is get to the end. But when I got to the end, it was just, yeah, almost a relief because I knew I could do it. All my hard work I'd put in had paid off. And I've never played a role like it. And I adore her. She's funny. She's, you know, she goes to that really serious emotional pace at the end. She's testing of characters. She gets to play the double sort of like life. Yeah, so I had the time of my life.
Yeah, what was that first bow like?
I mean, yeah, it's weird. When you do it for the first time, you're there, but like, it's almost like you don't hear the applause. It's really odd. And I think it's just that whole thing of you stay at this heightened level the entire show until you get on in the wing, you go, oh my God, I did it. I played the role and I get to play it again tomorrow, you know, and it is like an emotional relief. But yeah, I think on that first performance, I had my husband in the audience as well. So I saw him and I'm pretty sure I cried. So yeah, anyone that saw that, you just pretend you didn't see it.
So the next question is, what was it like being in a show inspired by Jamie and Margaret Campbell?
Oh my, I mean, you have to see the documentary, and yeah, meeting them, they are just very inspirational people. I think that's what makes Jamie so special, isn't it? You know, that it is a true story. It is based around real events and daily struggles for people. So it was an absolute honour to be able to portray the story right from Sheffield, where we started it, you know, and in Sheffield, just with the accent and playing it in Sheffield was the most welcoming audience ever because it was like their own, it was like their turf, you know, and we were here going, we're gonna give you a story that's from these most incredible people that have gone through this a huge struggle, you know, a huge struggle, but have well and truly come out the other side. And I think it just proves to so many people that they are capable of very similar things regardless of your situation. So yeah, to be able to bring that story to life and help so many people, yeah, a total honour.
Yeah, I met him at the press night for the UK tour. Oh God, last year. Yeah, yeah, last year. Never thought I'd get to a press night, but
Hey, there
I
you
got
go.
there.
Yeah, they're lovely, aren't they? And they're just, you know, his mum is just an absolute gem, and Jamie himself is just, he is Jamie, you know, and what you see is what you get, and that is what makes him so wonderful. And he is doing this, thank God. So, you know, just so pleased for him.
So the next question is, what is your favourite number to perform in Anne Juliet and why?
Wait, is this from an ensemble perspective or an Anne Hathaway?
Oh,
Let's go for it. Okay, ensemble. I really like doing It's My Life. I don't know why. I just think I just never get bored of Jordan as Romeo coming down in ceiling, and I just, that reaction when I'm like, he's coming, and I know that there are some people out there that haven't seen it, and they just are like, you know, they're shocked, and it's like, yeah, let's do it. Like, it's just the best rock out number and epic ending to an act one. So I really love doing that number. Yeah.
it's also a plot twist as well because you just don't know that he's live.
Yeah, it's just got so many entities to it. It's just all in one. It's like, it just blows up in your face, and people are so shocked, and you never not feel that on stage, you know. And it's just a busy number, props, dance. It's just so mad. So it's almost rewarding when you get to that end of Act One. So yeah, I love It's My Life.
Great. So when you was in Everybody's Talking About Jamie, you covered Miss Hedge and Ray, if I'm correct in saying that.
I did, yeah.
Which two of them did you prefer to play?
Hard, but I think God, I've never been asked that. I want to say Miss Hedge. I think I love the character of Ray, but she's on side with Jamie. So, you know, I love that about her. But the wonderful thing about Miss Hedge is that she goes through quite a big journey through the show of acceptance and understanding, and her own personal struggles of what she sees Jamie as. So, and I love the sort of like stress she has from the school kids, you know, and she also gets to play in the daydream of work of art. So, you know, she gets this lovely, like I said, journey through the show to come to the end of acceptance of that she's fighting against something that she doesn't need to fight against. So yeah, I actually think Miss Hedge, because she's probably a lot of people that come to see the show in the audience that maybe aren't comfortable with someone like Jamie, and they need a bigger understanding of actually what someone like Jamie goes through, and their personal opinion of him makes it 10 times worse, you know, when actually a bit of support from her and guidance would just help him so much. So yeah, I think I like her because she's actually quite a big influence on people that come to see the show.
Yeah, like the character of Ray is just absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, like it's so fun.
like personally, the bit I find hilarious is when she rips up the forklift truck driver job and then lifts the bin up and F-on. Oh god.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of like play, and you know the audience is gonna love the character. Yeah, I mean, you can't help but love that character.
Yeah.
Playful, silly, you know, and she's like a dad. She's like a dad to Jamie. So it's hard. There's loads of good things about Ray as well. So don't make me choose.
What is your dream role?
I would love to originate a role, to be honest, from the ground up. I think if you ask most people, they would want to do that, because then there's no, you are creating it. There's no influence of any other actor or you know, you're creating it with the director. So to make a role my own would be amazing. I would love to, you know. I would love to play Nancy in Oliver. I'd love to play her. I just love the grit of her character. I'm trying to think. It's hard. I mean, I like to think of shows that haven't been around recently, you know, because I like to be able to think of it as that I could make it my own. You know, when you've watched things recently, it's really hard to not think of the person that's played that role, I think. So yeah, let's say Nancy and Oliver, and I'm not gonna lie, I'd actually love to be Velma in Chicago, but I think it's because it was one of the like first shows that I ever saw, and there's something about it. And I'd literally play like a tree or a box in Rent if it just got me in it. So yeah,
Anything as long as I'm in it.
literally anything.
You can put me as a chair.
Mm-hmm. A fluffy chair in the corner. Yeah.
So the next question is: out of all the roles you have played, which one has been your favourite?
Anne Hathaway. I can't lie. Anne Hathaway. Yeah, she's the biggest role that I've played. And yeah, I just feel like I can connect with her on many, many levels.
Yeah.
And she's challenged me and she's made me grow as a performer, and I have learnt a lot from playing her. From work perspective, confidence, many things. And I also really enjoyed, actually, you can't really, I don't know if you can call it role because it's so tiny, but Anybody's in West Side Story I played in Salzburg. And I think it's a running thing. Many people like to cast me as a boy. I don't know if I should be offended by that or not. But actually, I am. Although maybe I look a little bit girly and soft, I am a bit of a brute of a character. You know, I have got tomboy tendencies, and I've always been like that. You know, since I was really young. I've got a bit of grit to me, so I think I always lean into sort of like characters that are a bit more, well, like they've got sort of like a male perspective almost from them. So yeah. But the ultimate, yeah, Anne Hathaway has been, and I really enjoyed Jules in Bend It, like Beckham, though. That's hard. But again, it's like sort of, it's a bit more of a broody, boy-y role. You know, she plays football, and I just felt like she was really like me. And I thoroughly enjoyed learning about her, and even learning to play football and them tendencies and how they talk and play. And so, yeah, 3.
Is there any behind the scenes stories that you can share or want to share?
Cheeky. Now, I don't know. You know, I mean, there are so many things. Look, I'm getting comfortable in my chair now because I'm serious. There are so many things that happen in a show, because many people say, you know, do you get bored of performing every evening or doing the same show every night? And I'm like, no, it is not the same show ever. It is always a different show. Things that happen backstage, there's always something happening backstage, something silly or someone's tripped over or whatever. I had actually one time that what happened? Well, in Anne Juliet, there was the time where we were pushing on the massive carriage, which, by the way, is like crazy heavy, and I'm like at the back of it with I think it's Dylan. God, it's been a year, guys, so just don't judge me on, I can't remember the show. But yeah, we're pushing this thing on, and we managed to like roll it over my foot. And it rolled over my foot, and I like squeaked really like loudly and had to like hop off into the corner of the wing. That was quite entertaining. I feel like I've hurt myself a lot, which isn't a good thing. But I've been put on the spot, so I'm like, there's so many funny things that actually happen. If something pops into my head, I'm just going to randomly interrupt our conversation and go, I've got it. But yeah, the being backstage is thoroughly entertaining all the time. I mean, I've actually, you wouldn't have known me, many people wouldn't know me then, but when I was in Ghost, I actually managed to enter the stage without a wig on. I was a swing. And when you're swing, you just have so many roles to think of, and I think that one evening I was probably covering 2 guys and a girl, and I just did my costume change, but I just didn't put any hair on my head, so I came on for a full-blown like hip-hop section, and I just had like a stocking cap on, and I remember stopping halfway through and being like like pure panic, and just running off because I was like, I'm dancing bald. Yep. One of many things.
God, it happens.
It does. It really does.
If you could play any other character in Anne Juliet besides Anne, who would it be and why?
I love Nurse. I just love her. I think she is just a wicked character, and I love that she sings that song at the end. She's passionate, she's funny, and she deeply cares for Juliet, and just the love story between her and Lance is just unbearably funny. So I'd have to say Nurse, yeah.
Do you have any pre-show rituals?
I mean, yeah, I'd absolutely love if I'm just in ensemble, then I'm just stretching and warming up, to be honest, in the wing, because it's so easy to, from when you've got half an hour to put your hair and makeup on and all this madness, you need to make sure you're warm and stretched downstairs. So I tend to do a little bit in the wing, and same with my voice. Make sure I've eaten something. Main thing, otherwise hungry in a show is not fun. Clean my teeth. No one likes smelly breath on stage when you're singing at each other. Yeah, nothing major. I mean, I probably have more rituals in terms of when I'm playing Anne Hathaway, because I have my, like, before a show I might do a little bit of massage and steaming for my voice, and I'll make sure I'm well rested. I sometimes have a little nap in between shows just to make sure I'm like fully rejuvenated for the evening performance. I have a little like ginger shot because that like just clears my voice. Jaw massage, things like that, like things that like really prep, I think, your voice and sort of the muscles that are going to be working straight for the next 2 hours. So I think things like that, and a lot of breathing actually. Like I do a lot of that now, but like sort of like yoga breathing and stuff that actually just like calms your whole system, so you can be fully focused on what you're doing, because it's really easy to forget how dangerous it is to work on a stage as well. For a split second, if you forget what you're doing, you don't know if the revolve's going to be moving or going down, or an accident's seriously happen.
What inspired you to get into musical theatre?
I used to be a gymnast for like 9 years when I was young, and I absolutely adored doing the floor, which is one of the 4 pieces that you do in gymnastics. And I just naturally had like a little bit of flair to me, so I had to obviously do all my tumbles in between, and I got to a really high level. I was like Kent champion at one point and stuff, so I was predominantly a gymnast for ages. But being on the floor, like, you got to dance to music and like almost perform, and I think I really enjoyed that element of stuff. But I had an injury that kicked me out of gymnastics, and I went, oh my god, what am I going to do in my life? I am a physical, creative person. I need to find something. So I started doing ballet and jazz, like little classes. And I just think that, in a weird way, I tripped into this industry. I didn't sit there when I was younger and go, I want to be a West End star. And I know that many people have felt like that. I think like Grace Mowat is one of them. She's dreamed of being a performer for since she can remember, and it's been in her bones. But I think I knew I was, my path was to do something along those lines of creativity, or of doing something that, I want to say performing, but that's not the right word for when I was younger. But I think I honestly stumbled into it. I went to Miskin Theatre not knowing where I was going. I just knew I loved doing that. I was doing contemporary companies and stuff, so I could have easily been just like a dancer that did the odd show. But it was my peers and my teacher that was like, oh, you should try singing, or you should try Erdan Academy. And I was like, what's Erdan Academy? It's just awful when I think about it now. But I sort of tripped into it, and I think my love has always been there for physical work and having a real challenge. I'm very like that. Like, I love a challenge, and I love working hard at something and developing it. So I think gradually my love for theatre and performing, it grew throughout my training to be able to come into the industry, and then I knew I was where I was meant to be, in a really cheesy way.
What shows do you want to see after lockdown?
Everything. Everything, every show. Blimey, I mean, it's hard because when you're in a show, you can't see other shows really, unless there's a matinee you can go to. So for how much you love theatre, it's almost tricky sometimes, because you can't go and watch a show in an evening because you're in one. So it's a bit tricky sometimes. But I still am yet to see Hamilton. I would love to see Hamilton, because I just feel like there's this big rave about it, and I really enjoyed going through the audition process of that. And just the music, the sound is something that I really love. So I think I'd love to see Hamilton. I want to see more plays, if I'm really honest. I'm learning more and more that I really, really like a very moving stories as well at the same time. So although I love a musical theatre, I'm more of a story that can influence me. So yeah, I mean, I'm not being picky. I would see any show, like any show right now.
I think anyone would.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the final question is one that I'm now going to be asking everyone.
Oh,
How do you feel that theatres can now reopen in May?
yeah! Like $1,000,000. I mean, yeah, I mean, even listen to the announcement, which was last night, to even be mentioned on the news finally of the word theatre came out of someone's gob. I shouldn't say gob on here probably, but I have. Finally, someone mentioned us, and you know, we're not these little gremlins in the dark that don't do anything. You know, people do not realise the hard work and dedication that it takes to be in this industry. They have no idea unless they have experienced it. So yeah, to even get any light at the tunnel is, I mean, it will just make it all so rewarding, because as performers, I think we fight so hard to stay on that wheel of hope in between jobs, you know, and working at our craft, that this has been the biggest time out for everybody. And it's brought us all together, I think, as an industry, which I think is a wonderful thing, and I hope we can take it with us to learn from it and keep growing and remember what's important. But I just feel over the moon that hopefully, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to be like the first night on stage. I don't know if I'm going to cry. I might wet my pants.
So now we're just gonna go into a quick fire round.
Oh God, I'm nervous. Okay.
So the first one, favourite musical?
Rent.
Plays or musicals?
Musicals.
West End or Broadway?
Not fair. West End, because I'm on it, but take me to Broadway.
Favourite theatre you have performed in?
Regent's Park Theatre.
And one that has caused a debate, is cereal soup?
Is cereal soup?
Yeah.
No.
Literally, the first time I heard about that was from the Six Queens on the UK tour, and Lauren Burns' reaction just made me priceless. I was like, right, if I ever do a Q&A series, this is what I'm asking.
Is cereal soup? I mean, if you're having a Weetabix,
just don't have baked beans.
Oh my God, don't even get me started on that. Whoever made that is just, can stay in lockdown forever.
Oh God.
Oh dear.
Honestly, that whole cereal being soup thing has just caused a massive debate.
I love that. I imagine the reactions you get must be so shocked. I was honestly like, theatre, Broadway, they're like, soup. Great.
Literally. Someone just said to me, I beg your pardon?
Yeah, it's true though. I was like, sorry, is that even a question? No way.
Oh God. So yeah, that comes to the end.
Yay!
Thank you so much for doing this.
Not at all.
So there you go, guys. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all soon for another video.
Yay! Thanks!